This morning, I woke up to a text that someone went onto the Dave Ramsey Show talking about how they were making $30,000 to $90,000 a month day trading. This is a big moment, but the person who texted me, this is what they had to say. Dave Ramsey has changed my life. However, they aggressively are anti-day trading. They lack awareness, education, and knowledge regarding the prop firm space. The fact that this caller especially mentioned futures prop firms is a massive keyword drop for the industry. Check out the comments for the haters and others who are clueless. So, I have not watched 1 second of this video, nor have I gone through any of the comments. So as someone who's made over 6 figures in the prop industry, not even day trade, I made multiple 6 figures in day trading with personal capital, but the prop firm space I've always said is super unknown. And as more people are becoming aware of it, of course, the older heads and stuff are not liking it. So if you do not know who Dave Ramsey is, you're probably living under a rock, but they give financial advice. People call in, say their situations, and they'll kind of, give advice on it. But sounds like they were super anti-day trading when this guy called. So as a futures day trader and someone who still does it every single day live, not hidden behind cameras, literally on my YouTube, I live trade in front of hundreds of people. I'm going to go through and listen to this video. So let's get right into it. Let's go.
Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
I'm 22 years old. I'm currently making about $30,000 to $90,000 a month. And I am trying to figure out when to make the jump into real estate because that's kind of where I want to take my end goal.
Wow.
Wow, Zach, we just talked to a caller who makes $850 a month.
Yeah, can you spare some change for our friends?
Day trading.
What are you doing to make $30,000 to $90,000 a month?
What?
So primarily day trading, specifically the futures market.
Okay, how did you learn about this, and are you using a platform? How does this all work?
Yes. So I've been practicing for about 3 or 4 years now, and then I decided to my initial investment was $3,000 into an evaluation for a few prop firms.
Yep.
And essentially,
that's why prop firms are amazing.
Use their capital, and then you normally get to keep anywhere from 70 to 90% of the profits that you make.
So the first thing I want to say is, if you guys do not know what the prop firm space is, and you're just watching this for maybe like a Dave Ramsey viewer, prop firms are for people who don't have access to larger capital, it's a ways for them to pay little amounts to get access to what's called an evaluation, where then you go through a test to basically prove to the firm that you're a profitable trader if you can follow certain requirements. And if you can pass them, then you become funded with their capital, and any of the money you make, like he said, you can get up to 70, 80, 90% of, which is absolutely amazing. So as someone who day trades, if you don't know the why that's important, is the more money you have to play with, not only are you going to make more, but it's less stress only having to risk smaller percentages of your account instead of having to have smaller accounts, risking way larger percentages trying to go for these big returns, which is why people like this hate on day trading. But they don't understand that you can have an edge to really become profitable. So let's just keep going.
And so I did that back in October, and I was able to pay my student loans off by doing it.
Good.
And I got a major in finance from Lipscomb. I graduated in December, and so I kind of decided that if I'm going to go all in on this, I might as well do it now and see where it took me.
And how long have you been doing this?
So with the live funded accounts, since February or March.
Okay, which is using your own money.
No, so it's just the firms primarily at this point in time.
So here's the question. If you're so good at this, why not use your own money?
Oh my God. I want to hear what he has to say about this, but my personal experience, because I do both, but one of the accesses, or if you really have the skill set, is you're not using your own capital. If you remember what he said, he only put $3,000 in to get access to accounts, but he's made already $30,000 to $90,000 a month. So who knows how much he's made total? But it's people don't understand that you can put little amounts in and get access to so much more that you can make so much more with. So I want to hear what he has to say about it.
Yeah, so a lot of the times right now, I don't have $150,000 that I want to invest in it. And I'm well aware of the risks. And if someone else is going to take on the risk for me, I was raised the Ramsey kid, so the less risk and the more success, and that's kind of where I was going with it.
Okay, so what happens if you make a bad trade? You get kicked out of these prop firms, right?
Yes, so there are systems in place to where essentially I have certain drawdowns that I can hit, and a lot of times with every single trade I take, I normally try and move the stop loss, which automatically sells me out of the market, to break even. And so at that point, it's very, very difficult to get out of the market. And so I have to I don't want to say it's impossible to lose money by any means whatsoever. But like a bad day would be me breaking even or only losing about $1,000 or $2,000.
Okay. How much money do you have now that is liquid?
About $50,000.
What are you doing with the rest of this money?
So I had to pay off my student loans because I paid for my own college.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I'm.
Because I was going to say the same thing. Like, how do you only have $50,000 liquid if you're making $30,000 to $90,000 a month from day trading? So, tip: be careful with your money.
I'm in the process of trying to move.
Don't just go
just somewhere else in Nashville. So that's taken up a little portion of it. Because it was like the first month, last month, and that whole thing. And then I tried to put away some for taxes because I have to do it. Obviously, I get taxed after. And
You're going
so
to get
that's
hammered
been
with
the kind of
taxes if you're
issue.
making $30,000 to $90,000 a month.
Yes.
You got
and
to
the
set
other issue has
aside
been
40%.
Yeah.
I have been. My godfather's a CPA, so he's been trying to inspire me with some words of wisdom, and he's been big on like the 40 or 42%. Yeah. So.
And do you have any debt
really,
left?
I do not. No.
Good. And that $50K, let's call that your emergency fund plus some?
Yeah, so that'll be like my emergency fund, and then if like something else happens, like with family, or I like to take care of the people around me. So.
Okay. And what's your question today?
I am trying to figure out. So I've always wanted to get into real estate.
I want to hear them start talking trash about
the best time
day
would be
trading.
to make that move and to start investing in real estate as well, because the trading only takes me about maybe 3 or 4 hours a day, and so that's kind of where I'm missing out, I think.
And by real estate, for you to own properties for investment, for you to flip and make a spread
primarily
for you.
investing, and then I would try and do fix and flips when I have the time.
Okay, so you're wanting to buy and hold and put renters in, is what you're thinking.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Okay.
And obviously, in Middle Tennessee, it's not cheap right now, so I was kind of wondering the best way to go with that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, with real estate, we always say if you're going to go beyond your primary residence, you want to do it with cash. And so being able to
And so
buy,
should I own the home first?
well, ideally, yes, to have a primary residence before you go and start doing investment real estate. Yes. So that would be that would be my goal for you, Zach. Honestly, would to move out of your parents and get a place of your own.
Yeah, I forgot you're 22.
and start
I am
working.
renting.
Oh, you're renting on
you're
your
not
own.
living with
Sorry to
parents.
interrupt.
Okay.
Yeah, no. So I moved down here from college. My family is in another state.
Oh, I
And
gotcha.
so,
Okay.
So I've been renting, and then I just signed another year-long lease by myself.
I gotcha.
What are your monthly expenses right now, all in?
Probably only about 3 or 4 at most. And that's probably an expensive month.
Okay, so let's call it $4,000. So you're telling me if you make $30,000, you set aside, let's say, 40% of that, right?
Yes, sir.
So you'd still have about $15,000 left to just throw into savings accounts every single year. I mean, every single month.
Yes, sir.
So that you could save up a whole lot of money in a year. I mean, you could have a down payment ready in 6 months.
Ideally, yes.
Yeah, so the real estate side of the investment portion is great, but it's not for income producing, right? It's more to hold. Like you make money on that at the buy, and then when you end up selling with all the equity because you're holding it for so long, right? I mean, decades
yeah, for
if you
more
can.
Of a long term instead of short term.
That's right. Yes, that's right. That's right. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a great goal, but I think the first step for you, Zach, would be to to own property yourself, right? For your primary residence before going and investing and getting a rental home and all of that, because a lot of people do it the opposite way, but what you'll end up finding is you're not really going to make depending on the home, obviously, in the situation, when you do that kind of investing, you're not making a ton of money. I think a lot of people have in their mind, I'm sure you run the numbers, you're a smart guy, but I think a lot of people in their minds have,
I can't wait to read the comments,
oh my
too.
gosh, I'm going to be making so much passive income. But by the
So
time,
we'll get
especially
into
if you go take a loan out, which a lot of people do for investment real estate, you're having to pay the mortgage, you're having to pay, fees on top of that, you're having to pay, everything it is to be a landlord for upkeep, all of it, and you end up from a net to gross standpoint with not a ton of cash. It's not like a big cash cow to have all of this like in a residential market, having one or two of these. So I just want you going in, eyes wide open, just knowing what you're getting yourself into, and that it's not, I don't know, I just feel like I see stuff like this all the time on social media. And we've done this, and I'm like, And it's not a bad thing. I like diversification. I like having money in the market. I like having some real estate. Like, I think all of that's really good, but it's not this thing that's like, oh my gosh, it's going to be making me a ton of money. If anything, flips will. Like, that's where we've actually seen, from a short-term perspective, actually see some pretty great returns.
Because you're not needing to wait on the market to appreciate, because it's been a little stagnant the last few years.
And you can get some really crappy houses in Nashville and gut them if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole other business that you
It takes a lot more
I have a
work.
buddy that's willing to help me out to a certain extent, and so, but then as of right now, depending even in like Antioch, I might have to take out a loan for the initial part, but then I could
You got like 41
pay it
seconds
off by the
left.
time I flip it. So that was the other
right. So that's
crosswalk
that would be the wrong way to do it from Ramsey's standpoint, because that's how Dave actually ended up going broke, because he borrowed on all these homes.
You get
and
starry-eyed and go, well, it'll all work out.
And then you get stuck and you're having to sell it quickly because you're like, oh my gosh, it's a flip. And so we're needing to make a profit, and you end up selling it for not as much as you want. And then you end up not making the spread that you want. And then it ends up going backwards, and it's not good. So cash is everything.
And I would not count on this gravy train of day trading for too long. I would get out while you can when the getting's good, but just know this may not be a 5-year career. So I'd find something you can sink your teeth into with how smart you are, my man.
Create your free every dollar budget today.
All right, so it wasn't until the ending when he was just saying like, don't just rely on day trading. But it's like, if he's already been trading for a couple years and doing well, what's not to say he gets even better and is able to scale even more? Because if you're making 30 to 90,000 now, imagine later. Because someone like me, I've been day trading guys now for 6 years, and I've seen all the ups and downs from not only myself, but people around me who have tried to get into it who have not good outcomes, right? I just think there's really like a couple different ways to look at day trading, because there's people who like are more, that think more like Ramsey, like, like this whole show is about, that are more into the, safer route, put your money into long-term indexes or whatever it may be, 401ks. And then there's the day trading route where people don't think that you can actually make a income doing that, because the type of like yearly returns they're talking about, a lot of people are making within a day, a week, sometimes a month, which to them is just insane. So I understand their, ideology behind it all, because I'm not here to say day trading is not risky, but it's the way you view it. Because if you want to get into day trading and treat it like gambling, you can go and buy and sell all day with no type of edge, but it's the experience and actually finding a strategy that you can go in and out of the markets and, over a period of time, know you're going to end up profitable. That's what kind of separates it out. So for anyone out there who doesn't day trade, who wants kind of an example, I always kind of bring this up, but I went to college or even high school, doesn't matter, but like think of a science class, right? In a science class, you have to come up with a hypothesis about some sort of experiment, and then you go collect data on that, like basically hypothesis, to figure out if it's either correct or not, depending on what obviously the experiment is. But I always bring this example into day trading, because if you don't understand day trading, having an entry model or having a strategy is just like that. You pick basically a strategy that you're going to follow, what pair you're going to trade, what type of entry criteria you're going to have during what time of day, and you apply that over a bunch of past data. Because if you guys have resources, like if you look at something called TradingView, you can go back and look at so much years of the same price action where you can gain an edge in the market applying that strategy, and your data is going to tell you if you're either going to have like a positive or negative outcome if you follow this certain criteria. So if you don't trade like that, yes, I think that it can be gambling, because you're kind of going in with no edge, kind of buying and selling about how you feel, and that's not really day trading. But someone like him who sounds like he's having success, I bet you he has a strict entry criteria. He's been trading for a while. There's no way he just all of a sudden is making 30, 90K if he doesn't know how to scale with prop firms, because prop firms aren't even easy to pass in the first place. So shout out to him. Shout out for him for getting on this platform and putting kind of day trading on the map. Because, well, first off, we're gonna go through the comments right now in a second, but putting day trading on the map is huge. Putting on a platform like this, because now I'm excited to go through and actually see what people are saying about this. Because like I said, I did not watch this until just now with you guys, completely raw. You can see right here, it came out 9 hours ago. But let's go look at the comments now. Dave would have said to stop doing that and get some mutual funds and live on rice and beans. All right. This sounds bogus. If he was really that sophisticated a guy that he can make that much as a day trader, he doesn't need financial advice from these guys. He's probably gambling and got a streak of luck going his way. Could be, but like for that, period of time, making that much, maybe not. Austin Blackhawk had zero reason to call back the flex hard. That's kind of funny. Nah, he just was looking for some advice on, if you should buy a house or whatnot. Surprised they didn't tell him 95% lose money and they stopped doing it. What if he made 30K a month and 90K 1 month, and for months in between he either makes or loses big? Not buying this for a second. The minute I heard I use other people's money, I figured he was full of it. Let's read this, because this has to do with the prop firm model. A lot of people out there don't understand the whole kind of idea behind proprietary firms. Limit 7 openings you can do from home. Oh wait, that's an ad. I wonder if this money is actually hitting his bank account. I'm skeptical. Agreed. According to him, he takes none of the risk and someone else pays out of pocket 70% of the profits. This is a complete scam. So like stuff like this is, what we're basically looking for, because people don't understand the concept, because now there actually is ways out there to leverage your skill set to get access to larger amounts of capital through prop firms. It's not a scam. It does cost money to do the evaluation, right? But if you actually can prove to them that you're profitable, they're going to back you, and all the profits you make, you get paid out. You guys can go look at my YouTube has plenty of profits, as well as a bunch of other people, students of mine. There's so many certificates and like good success stories behind prop firms. Prop firms is how I got my start and started making my first amount of money. Then I did go put most of it into a live account and now do both. But I also agree that for especially like beginners and people starting out, it's the way to go. I consistently make 7 to 10K a month options trading for several years during the 2010s. The 1 year I lost everything. I made about 50K more, but I still pay taxes on. Yeah. This is why, options is pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie. Options is a lot different. I think day trading, obviously, you guys don't know the differences, but like with day trading and the way that like the futures market works or the foreign exchange or whatever, you can buy and sell and get out at whatever you want, right? So having risk management is really important. I'm not gonna get into a whole strategy video, but like going into a trade, you actually know how much you're gonna be risking on that given trade. So that's what I think separates gambling from like traders, is like we're really just risk managers at the end of the day, learning how to manage risk to keep our losses small and maximize our wins in the long run. Yeah, see, like people are just hating. Make 30 prop trading, but he had a student loan. Is yeah, at the end of the day, I don't know who this caller is. I'm not here to say everything he's saying is true, but I'm here to back up day trading. I'm trying to see what people have to say. He's called me. He says me doing this time. Only with blue. Trying to look. This is gonna add badly for this guy. So I'm saying people think that like day trading is not long term. Look at this. I love. Yep. Drop a like on that one. Weird how they're okay with this, which is gambling, but they're still not okay with Bitcoin. Well, one thing that came to mind when I saw this or heard about this video is, I don't know if you guys have seen that like news segment of someone who was basically on a like airing on news, and this girl was talking to this guy, and they were talking about like investments and what they recommend, and he said like anywhere from 1 to 3% to put that into Bitcoin, and this was when Bitcoin was at like I think 8 to 10,000, somewhere like lower, even maybe even lower than that. And the person that was like on air, she was like, oh, what? Like, no, that's insane. You're saying 1 to 3% of people, like maybe if they're younger and have like risk tolerance, but guess what? If you would have listened to that guy and even, screw 1 to 3%, if you would have put more, just goes to show why you can't always listen to these big people, because they just play by the books, and it can work over a long period of time, which can, but I don't know. I'm one of those people that like tomorrow's not promised. So you got to like really try to, if you weren't born into a good job or, good family, not good income or whatever it may be, it's hard to get to that next level and get out of the middle class or lower class. So I think day trading is one of the biggest ways a lot of people are getting out nowadays. So I'm here to like stick up for it, because I don't want anyone out there to not try it because they hear people online saying it's a scam and stuff. Because if I would have listened to that, and I would have listened to people back in the day saying trading is a scam when I first was starting out, because everyone told me that, I would not be where I'm at today. So that's basically it, guys. At the end of the day, you can see everyone's calling BS, saying that it's not legit and whatnot, but I'm here to say I have plenty of people, including myself, that have good success stories around day trading. One of my good friends just got the largest payout ever in one single payout, which was $2.5 million in one payout. He has accumulated over $4.4 million in total from prop firms, which is those companies that do fund you money to trade, and then you take a percentage of. So I'm here to say it is not a scam. Everyone out there should definitely go do your due diligence, look into it, and have your own opinion on it. Because if you go listen to everyone online, then you're going to have no, you're gonna have no like. To me, it's that like if you listen to everyone and everything you see online, you're not gonna have your own ideas to go try new things. And how are you supposed to get out of whatever situation you're in if you don't try new things out? That's what I preach. No matter if you want to try day trading or try anything else, guys, I'm here to say take that leap of faith, go and do it. Shout out to them. Shout out to this guy for getting on the Dave Ramsey Show to even talk about this. I hope it does shed some light on prop trading and people do maybe see this video and do give it a chance. If you guys have any questions, make sure to comment on this video. I'll answer anything. And like I said, guys, if you're here to call it a scam or BS or whatever, literally just message me. I can try to in any way prove to you it's legit. If you guys go over to my YouTube right here, you guys will see I literally live trade. This isn't even to plug my own stuff.
I feel like
But if I was fake, why would I go and live trade every single day in front of people, proving my entry, like showing my entries, showing my profits, showing me getting in, out, all type of stuff. And I've been doing it since 2021 on this same YouTube channel, so you can go check it out. But I appreciate everyone for watching this video. Like and subscribe. And like I said, any comments, leave below. If you think it's a scam, come try it out. Love you guys. See you on the next video. Peace.